feel like I'm very like mime chic today, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think I like it. Hey everyone, and welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is MaggersAnn Martin, and I am the author of The Big F. It's a YA contemporary coming out next August 29th. And I am so excited to be able to talk to you guys today about the editing process. People are either really in love with this process or really don't like it. I'm one of those people that falls into the category of I find it really helpful. This story would not be where it is if it wasn't for the different people who have edited it along the way, but most specifically my editor over at Swoon Reads, Emily. She's amazing and she is really taking this story to the next level. And I'm so thankful for her help. But for those of you who are aspiring writers, I'll just sort of jump into how my process has been and sort of the things that I've gleaned from it. So, editing. Up to the point of where I submitted my manuscript to Swoon Reads, oh no, my air conditioning is coming on. I should have, oh gosh. One moment. Okay, so last week, as I explained, I'm in a new place and I'm just calling this place my noisy little nest. And I live right downtown Iowa City and it is loud. So there's a performance going on outside right now, and I feel like there's never a time where there's not a performance going on. So if you hear some weird stuff in the background, that's what it is. Also, my air conditioning is just like, sounds like a monster coming to life. So yeah, I had to wait for that to shut down, but I'm ready to get back to my discussion topic, which is editing, which is everyone's favorite discussion topic. My editing process started out after I wrote the book. I wrote it my freshman year of college, just for time reference. I graduated this May. And then I really sat down, went through it, edited it my sophomore year of college. So the next year I let it sit for about 6 months, and I think that's really helpful when you're in the editing process, because if you've looked at it way too much, you don't see how things aren't connecting. So if you give yourself a good couple months in between, at least for the beginning. I know when you have deadlines you can't do that as much, but when you can at the beginning, I say put it away for like at least 2 months, so that when you're reading it again, it feels like it's new and you can critically look at it and figure out where the spots that need tweaking are. So after I went through that process, I had like 6 months where I didn't look at it, and then I found a few beta readers to read it, give me feedback, and then I went back and edited it again. So I put it up on Swoon Reads when it probably wasn't as edited as they should have been, but I think Emily, who's my editor, saw the vision for it and knew where it could be, and I'm really thankful to her for that. And then once I signed my contract with Swoon Reads Macmillan, it was about a month or two, maybe just a month, 2 months, until I got the editorial letter from my editor, and that was a big letter that kind of went over the big picture, things that needed to be changed. Things to emphasize, things to take out, things to switch around the order of, and I went through and did those edits in about 2 months, and I feel like those were the edits that I had the most fun doing, because it was when I was, adding more scenes or reworking scenes, which is like my favorite thing ever, which is, why I really like the editing process, because you can reimagine things and you kind of know your characters a lot better after going through a couple rounds of edits and reading through it for a million times. So now I'm in the process of doing like a hybrid of like line edits and still doing some developmental edits with notes from my editor after she read through my revised draft. And those are going really well too. It's going quicker, which is exciting. And I'll turn those in by mid-September. And then from there, I think we'll decide if I need to do one more round of line developmental edits before it goes to copy edits. So it's all kind of up in the air right now. I don't know exactly how that time frame is going to work. Okay, so I feel like the point of this was to give you guys some advice and not just kind of talk about like how it works. My advice is to have an open mind. I know it's really hard when you've worked so hard on this story that you've created, these characters that you've created, and then having someone else come in and say, change this, like tweak this, and you're like, oh my gosh, like these are my babies. But you'll be amazed by how much your work changes for the better when someone else can come in and say like, hey, I think you can make this scene stronger by doing X, Y, and Z. But I don't think editing is something that or having people give feedback is something authors intrinsically enjoy, but it's so necessary in order to produce your best content. My biggest piece of advice is always ask for feedback from people who you trust and people who aren't just going to say, oh, it's great, I loved it, that are going to give constructive feedback. My other piece of advice is stick to your guns. There were a few times in my editing process where I was like, oh, I really think it makes more sense if we keep something this way. And you know, it's all about give and take in that process. If you feel in your heart that something makes the most sense when someone asks you to change it, it's ultimately up to you. It's your decision, it's your piece, it's your baby. You can't keep everything the same way. You can't change everything that someone presents to you. You have to be able to find that middle ground that's going to work the best for your piece. And then third is one that I don't really hear talked about as much, but something that has really worked for me is rewarding yourself for hitting certain milestones. Like, this is weird. I love peanut butter and chocolate. I love Reese's peanut butter cups to death. And so I mentally will say like, hey, if you can make it through this next 30 pages of edits today, you can have a Reese's peanut butter cup. And I'll give myself little rewards like that, or sometimes they'll be bigger, like, hey, if I finish my edits today, I can go and see this movie that I've been dying to see that I've been holding off on. So I think it's important to reward yourself so that you feel like you're accomplishing something as you hit like milestones, even if it's just like a peanut butter cup. It's still like something that's encouraging you to keep going. I hope that was helpful, not super rambly. If you have any other questions that you think of, leave them down in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. I'm so excited to talk to authors or people who are aspiring to be authors, because I was literally in your shoes a few months ago. And I want to say a huge shout out. Swoon Reads just picked its next list of books to be published, and I'm so excited for those people. I know how exciting it is when you can finally say, you know, hey, my book is being published, and I want to say a huge congrats to all of you, and especially to my friend Alex, whose book got chosen. I knew it would happen. Between Takes is awesome. If you want to read Between Takes, I have a link down below. It obviously will change through the editing process, but you can read it unedited now. Along with my book, you can read unedited now, but I encourage you to wait until it comes out. I know it's a year away, but it's changing so much already, and I really want you guys to see the finished product. I'm so excited. Sorry for the rambling. As always, thank you guys for stopping by my little book nook of the internet, and I will see you next time. Bye.